The topic is Hunger in America 2000, and the guest is Ms. JDay. Ms. Day is the president and CEO of an organization called Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee. And of course, Ms. Day, before we had our first commercial break, we promised that we would give you an opportunity during the second segment to talk about some of the resources that are needed in order to support this very, very extensive feeding program that you have here, because we've heard of Second Harvest Food Bank for a long time, but we certainly didn't recognize that you were feeding as many people as you're feeding, and the resources that must be needed in order to do what you're doing. So let's talk about it from the point of view of what you need in order to continue such an extensive program.
Okay. We move about 10 million pounds of food a year. 70% of that product is either refrigerated or frozen, and only about 30% is non-perishable items. And so, as you can well imagine, it takes a large facility and an adequate facility to be able to accept that product and then move it through the system very quickly to those people that need it. We currently are in a warehouse off of 20th Avenue North. It's 54,000 square feet. But we're in the process of undergoing a capital campaign to build a new Second Harvest that would be located actually in the Metro Center area and would be over 120,000 square feet. And of course, as you can well imagine, that's going to cost us about $8.8 million to do that. And we are presently have just begun the campaign, and we're at about $1.6 million collected so far. So we have a ways to go. But it costs us about $3.5 million a year to run our current facility that we're in and run all the programs that I just talked about, which takes a lot of resources to do that. And so we depend very heavily upon the public and private donations from individuals. We also depend on foundations to help support us. We do receive United Way dollars and United Way designations. We also have some federal grant money that we receive, but that's very limited. We also receive through federal grant money some USDA product and some monies to disperse that particular product. So really it takes an awful lot, as you can see, to be able to run an organization of our size and move that much through the system. We feed over 450,000 individuals a year on a regular basis, and that's pretty tremendous. And we do it with a small staff of about 35 individuals with all the different programs that we have going on.
And so all of that activity, in a real sense, depends primarily upon the charity of the public, in a real sense, in that if they can give you the kind of resources that you find necessary, then you can do not only that job, but perhaps even a greater job. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. In order for us to expand the service to those individuals that need it, we do depend upon private donations to help us. Over 70% of the money that we raise comes from the private community, from individuals, primarily from individuals, some from businesses, but primarily from individuals. And not only that, but we need food as well as dollars. We hold, enormous food drives throughout the year, because I think one thing that people don't understand is hunger is year-round. Hunger doesn't take a vacation. It's not just here during the holiday season, but we're serving people every single day in this community, and that takes lots of resources. In our warehouse, obviously, we have to have tow motors, and we have to have freezers and coolers, and those are expensive to run in order to house the product, keep it safe, and then distribute it back out to individuals or agencies who are feeding people.
What kind of corporate support do you find that's available to you, Ms. Day, in terms of corporations and speak to that kind of support?
Actually, we have had tremendous corporate support in this community. I think, as you are well aware, this community is very supportive of many charitable organizations, and we're very fortunate that we are one of those that they support very heavily. We have lots of corporations that will support us through doing special events with us, which helps us to raise money and awareness about our organization and what we're doing. Many will do food drives. Many will do send us volunteers. They'll come down to the warehouse and sort our product, because when we do a food drive, we then have to sort it out by categories to then ship it out to our satellites, so that the families then will receive the adequate product. So there's a variety of ways that businesses can participate, not just in dollars, but also in manpower as well.
I think you've indicated already, Ms. Day, that hunger is not a seasonal thing. But now, in terms of the kind of the season that we're in now, do you find that there is any greater support for what you're trying to do, or do you find that there's greater charity among the people now than at any other time?
I think there's a heightened awareness during this time, and I think that comes because we're all with our families, and we are very concerned about, particularly if we have family members that aren't with us this year for whatever reason. So I think people are much more in tune to it at this time, but people also are very supportive of our organization throughout the year. But we do see more donations come in, and as people are looking at their year-end contributions and where they want to put their money before the end of the tax year, you know, they'll consider various charities, and we've been very fortunate recipients of those individuals.
Now, how would that work? How could an individual who wanted to perhaps do something for your organization in a cash-wise manner, and at the same time deal with his federal income tax, what would you suggest that individual could
they can send us a check, and then within a week's time, they will get a receipt for that amount of money that they contributed. Their donation is 100% tax deductible, and that receipt will be, they can use that with their income tax purposes, and they'll get several mailings a year from us. We do a lot of direct mail with individuals, and we keep our donors regularly informed of the activities that we're doing. People can call our office, which is at 329-3491, if they need food assistance, if they'd like to volunteer. We have lots of opportunities for volunteers. So, or if they just want to make a contribution, we would be happy to accept that as well.
You know, I like what you said, Ms. Day, about hunger not being something that will have an impact only on the poor, that there are a large number of individuals that we describe as working poor. Absolutely. Who will need your assistance and whatever. And so what could you say to those folks? We've got about 56 seconds before our commercial break this period, but what could you say to some of those individuals who might need some support and help? That's
what Second Harvest is here for. 50% of the clients that we serve in our emergency food box program are actually individuals that work, and they've had some unusual circumstance come up. Either they've had high medical bills, high utility bills, their car is broken down, and they need some extra assistance. And that's what Second Harvest was founded for, and that's what we're here to do, and we hope that they'll call us so that we can tell them where they can go.
Okay, very good. And of course, we're getting ready for this second commercial break, Stay, and then we'll come back and we'll give you about 6 minutes to wrap up this show for today. But I certainly appreciate the kind of information that you're giving us, because it has broadened my view in reference to what Second Harvest is all about, and I thought that I had a fairly good idea to begin with. And we'll be back with our audience following this short commercial break. The President and CEO